If MGM was Hollywood's version of Saks Fifth Avenue, then Columbia Studios was its Goodwill, grinding out B films with an occasional flash of quality like the Frank Capra pictures. Studio boss Harry Cohn had turned Sinatra down for serious roles in Knock on Any Door and On the Waterfront, but now Frankie went in and did the humble bit. The part of Maggio in From Here to Eternity was him, he told Cohn, and he'd play the role for $1,000 a week, a total of $8,000, considerably less than the $150 per picture that he was getting at MGM. He got the role, and all of his co-stars, Burt Lancaster, Montgomery Clift, Deborah Carr, and Donna Reed, realized they were working with a terrific actor.
Would you like to dance, honey?
Hey. Hi. You busy?
I'm telling you, Top, she's nothing but trouble. You better keep your mind off what you're thinking. What do you want to do, wind up in Leavenworth?
Nobody ever kissed me the way you do.
Nobody's going to do nothing. Anybody does any killing around here, I'll do it. Okay, fatso. It's killing you want. Come on.
Just getting nominated as Best Supporting Actor was a gas, but there was a buzz in the air. Coincidentally, it was Nancy Sinatra Sr.'s birthday. A lot of people in Hollywood considered Frank Sinatra a bore and a bully. A lot more, like Spencer Tracy and Humphrey Bogart, admired his cockiness. But the word on the street was that talented bastard might just do it. In any case, it was the surprise and the kick of a lifetime when Mercedes McCambridge made the announcement from up on stage.
The winner is Frank Sinatra.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm deeply thrilled and very moved, and I really don't know what to say because this is a whole new kind of thing, you know, song and dance man type stuff.
He was going back up on top and he was going to stay there. A new recording contract, this time with Capitol Records, gave his career a whole new boost. There was a world weariness to the inflections now. The voice was not as beautiful and clear as it had been 10 and 15 years before, but there was something more to it. A depth, an adult sadness, reflected in his disintegrating marriage to Ava Gardner. Conductor Nelson Riddle infused swing and jazz into the arrangements, and the new 33 1/3 LP album gave Sinatra the breadth of expression he needed. Instead of spending all his emotion on one ballad, a story could be told with related songs over a period of a half an hour on record. Young at heart, All the Way, Love and Marriage, Come Fly With Me. Sinatra not only reclaimed his crown as king of the recording biz, he kept growing as an actor, like the assassination thriller
Won a Silver Star.
Otto Preminger's film version of The Man with the Golden Arm was another dramatic challenge. Sinatra played an ex-con, ex-junkie, trying to make it in a crooked, dirty world, often combining the two, Young at Heart, The Tender Trap, or the abortive Guys and Dolls, starring a miscast Marlon Brando in the role that Sinatra should have played. and Sinatra kept swinging at guys who got in his way, verbally and otherwise. He refused to lay down and take abuse or insults, and shot back. It was his nature.
My number one responsibility, as I said earlier, is my job to them. Bogart, when he was alive, once told me, we were rather good friends through the years, and he said, the only thing you owe the public is a good performance.
When Bogart died in 1957, Frank Sinatra consoled his widow, Lauren Bacall. This romance went on for nearly a year and a half, but Sinatra was still married to Ava Gardner and cultivating his swinger image. Nowhere better shown than in the movie version of the hit musical Pal Joey.
Joey. That's me. Of course, my name's Frank Sinatra. But in my latest picture, I play Pal Joey. Or I'm your Pal Joey. Now, before you see this unusual picture, I think there are a few things you should know about Joey. First of all, he lives in a world all his own. Joey even has his own slanguage, made up purely of Joeyisms. Now, to start with, we'll take the word mouse. This is a mouse, a beautiful mouse called Kim Novak.
Each day is Valentine's Day.
Now that we've gotten this far, I suppose you think that the plural of mouse is mouses. It is mice, and here are some dandy examples. Wowie, wow, wow, wow. Wowie, wow, wowie, wow, wow, wow. You ready to continue the lesson? A gasser. That's something that's, well, the very best. I'll give you an example. Yes, sir, that is a gasser in the form of Rita Hayworth, and some form that gasser has. Any questions? That's how Joey keeps loose and is always popping. You see, Joey has a good reason to be popping. Now, in studying a cased history of Joey, you must know his philosophy. You treat a dame like a lady and treat a lady like a dame.
She gets too hungry for dinner at 8. She likes the theater, never comes late. She'd never bother with people she'd hate. That's why the lady is a tramp.
Did you get the message? Yeah, Joey's quite a guy. He's the brainchild of John O'Hara, and Rodgers and Hart put words and music to him for a Broadway hit musical and wrote one of the greatest scores, plus a few added R&H starters. Listen.
I didn't know what time it was till I met you. There's a small hotel with a wishing well. If they ask me, I could write a book about the way you walk and whisper and look.
I've tripped. But as I sit again.
That's why the lady, that's why the lady, that's why the lady is a tramp.
High Society, for MGM, was an updated remake of the Philadelphia Story with Bing Crosby, Sinatra, and Grace Kelly.
You know how I feel about my grandmother, but I'd sell her for a drink.
Was your sensational, sensational. That's all.
Let's drink your health. Collide with now.
The late 1950s saw Bogart's circle of friends, which he had dubbed the Rat Pack, mutate into the so-called Clan. Sinatra, Dean Martin, comedian Joey Bishop, Peter Lawford, and Sammy Davis Jr. Their raison d'etre was drinking, gambling, chasing broads, and cracking each other up on stage. They did it all with a great deal of energy.
How are we going to do? If all the women in Texas were as ugly as your mama, the Lone Ranger going to be alone for a long time.
Arbitrary. Well, my Australian friend here thinks that Wrap Your Troubles in Dreams is an old song.
Well, it ain't in any Fabian album, I'll tell you that. No, but Frank Munn has a very big cylinder on it.
There, you see? Frank Munn, he knows, boy.
Frank made his way out. He's a drummer with a band. No, he's an old tenor and very good one, too. But if you're interested in old songs... would you call Lucky Lindy an old song? No, that's not what I mean by an old song.
Tell me, how about... Let's kick the Kaiser out of Berlin.
Easy. Or, though the Army is in Clover, still the Navy took them over, and the Navy will bring them back. Sing.
Hey, the old gray mare, she ain't, she used to be, ain't, she used to be, ain't, she used to be, the old gray mare. She ain't, she used to be many long in the shade of the old apple tree. Don't you hear some Australian? Sounds like a Greek.
That's way down in old Sicily, with a heart that is true, with a lasagna and you, in the shade of the old apple tree.
It does look a mite stark, doesn't it? But what happened to our sets? Washed out. What do we do? It presents a problem, doesn't it?
Well, if you're really stuck, I'd like to say a few words about my brother-in-law, Senator John Kennedy.
Hold it.
Hold it.
Sarah, wait a minute. I know he's your brother-in-law, but Nixon's liable to scream for equal time.
The films the Klan made together often seemed like elaborate home movies. Sergeant's 3, Ocean's 11, 4 for Texas. But the sense of fun was infectious. Everybody seemed to be having such a good time, and if the audience couldn't keep up with the in-jokes, well, that was tough. Sinatra backed John F. Kennedy for president in 1960, coming on even stronger than he had for Roosevelt, Truman, or Adlai Stevenson in previous years. He'd taken a great deal of flack for politicking for the Democratic Party, but in the 40s he had said, "I feel it's the duty of every American citizen to help elect the candidates of his choice." Kennedy and Sinatra shared a sense of glamour and electricity, not to mention an appreciation of the opposite sex, and in fact appreciated some of the same women, Marilyn Monroe and Angie Dickinson, for example. Frank Sinatra became the unofficial goodwill ambassador to the Soviet Union when Premier Nikita Khrushchev visited the set of Can-Can in Hollywood. He called it decadent. But if things didn't go well with Khrushchev, they went extremely well with Juliette Prowse, a last-minute replacement for Sid Charisse, whom Sinatra had fired.
It isn't like me to lose my head over a girl. But then that was not just a girl. Let me tell you why she's here. Her name is Juliette Prowse. It was my recent good fortune to appear with this young lady in a motion picture called Can-Can. Now, this picture has many things to recommend it, beside the fact that Khrushchev hated it.
Love comes in and takes you for a spin. Ooh la la la, c'est magnifique.
But his growing closeness to the Democratic candidate gave ammunition to the usual team of right-wing sharpshooters. Sinatra's lifestyle and friendships came under fire. Associates like singer Phyllis McGuire was directly linked to Chicago mob boss Sam Giancana. To knowingly serve him in a gambling joint meant revocation of a gambling license, and Sinatra by now owned a large share of the Cal Neva Lodge and a smaller piece of the Sands in Las Vegas. To complicate the Giancana-Kennedy connection, a party girl named Judy Campbell was evidently having affairs with both of them, having been introduced to JFK by Frank Sinatra. Giancana's brief presence at the Cal Neva Lodge was enough for the Nevada Gambling Commission to investigate and threaten to pull Sinatra's gambling license. It was hypocritical and stupid. The entire state's tourist industry was based on gambling, booze, and prostitution. But for once, Sinatra backed down. He sold his interest in the Cal Neva Club. Fighting the smear campaign could have reflected on the president, and he didn't want that.
In the beginning was the word, the saying goes. And no one's more conscious of the importance of words than the picture makers in Hollywood. It's been my very good fortune of recent years to appear in some motion pictures which began as words on a printed page. Exciting words, which made stories that had something important to say. For instance, this one started the dramatic ball rolling for me. As a book, it raised a lot of eyebrows, and as a picture, it did the same. Another book I crossed paths with on the screen was surrounded with controversy. This was quite a book and quite a picture. And now, once again, I've had the chance to help bring another great story to the screen. It's Joe David Brown's memorable novel of Kings Go Forth. It's a sensitive story about two soldiers, a girl, and a question. The kind of question that almost never gets talked about in films. Well, in Kings Go Forth, it's talked about all right. As a matter of fact, it explodes in a burst of screen drama you'll think about for a long time to come.
Kings Go Forth involved the story of two GIs, both of whom are in love with a girl who is half European and half black. As usual, the other members of the cast were people Sinatra knew or wanted to know. Tony Curtis was an unofficial member of the Rat Pack, and Natalie Wood was romantically linked to Sinatra at the time.
It is not time for a good night kiss.
Mm-hmm. But in America, some people just don't wait. They feel like kissing, they kiss. Kiss, kiss, kiss all the time. That's how I feel with you. You touch her and I'll kill you. Tell her.
You really want me to, Lieutenant? Like you thought it over real hard.
Tell her!
Mon chéri. What is wrong?
I guess what Sam means is I'm not gonna marry you, Monique.
The film Some Came Running was better known for escapades on location than the content of the film itself.
The most dramatic portrayal in Frank Sinatra's fabulous career. His best friend, Dean Martin.
He always wears hat in the presence of ladies.
All the time.
He even sleeps in his hat. I'll bet.
This is Ginny, who wanted his love regardless of consequences. A standout performance by Shirley MacLaine. Yes, everyone knew that Dave was back. The smug folks of the country club set, and the others on the wrong side of the tracks. Martha Heyer is Gwen, afraid to love him and too attracted by him not to. Boldly played by a cast as big as its story.
The unsung heroes of adventure in faraway places, add one more name, Captain Tom Reynolds. Always a bomb, Tom Reynolds. A bomb who lighted his own fuse. He lived hard, he fought hard, and he fell hard.
I kissed you, lady, and you kissed me back.
You?
I got the message.
Never so few are the moments left for love to such as these two fatefully brought together in the unpredictable turmoil of an exotic land. There had always been more than one man in Carla's life, the ones that had her and the ones that wanted her.
Oh, come in and sit down.
We better stay in the jungle. It's a lot simpler there.
Many lives touched those of Carla and Tom. In Bill Ringer, Tom found a brother rebel.
Make it, bottle it, label it, sell it. I even drink it.
God, you've got guts.
The part eventually played by Steve McQueen was in fact written for Sammy Davis Jr., but Sammy Davis Jr. had spoke his mind on Frank Sinatra at the time, and Sinatra cut him out of his life. He eventually forgave him when Davis apologized.
But I must tell you something rather disagreeable about myself. I'm a bad loser.
You once told me I had a lot of boyish notions about love and that you knew love's realities.
Now I know what kind of man you are. So brave in battle, but so afraid of life. You talk of the future, but you won't take a chance on it.
The fervid and tantalizing story of a love that could not be, and yet could not be denied. Never so few is vivid human drama boldly set against the exotic lands of India and Burma.
Sinatra produced a spectacular gala for JFK's inauguration, and despite a huge blizzard, the ball was a star-studded success. But Frank's public association with JFK got supercilious frowns from the Kennedy side. The implication of mobsters in the White House was continuously thrown around. The final break came when JFK's advisors had him stay at Republican Bing Crosby's home in Palm Springs rather than Sinatra's. Frank had built an entire new wing for the president, but JFK never occupied it. Crosby's home was, in fact, more defensible from security standpoints, but Sinatra's relationship with JFK and with Peter Lawford withered. He continued his charity works, both high visibility and anonymously, raising money for medical research and liberal causes, but as a multimillionaire himself, an understandable conservatism began to creep in. Here, in a touching public service spot for tuberculosis research, Sinatra confronts a fatally ill TB victim. It's touching, heartrending, even if the boy is obviously Jerry Mathers of Leave It to Beaver.
Seen you before. Are you a doctor?
Nope. My name's Frank. What's yours?
Arnold Gordon Nolte Jr. My folks don't call me Junior. They call me Gordy.
Okay, Gordy. Say, the doctors here at the hospital tell me you're a pretty good soldier yourself.
The Indians are going to wipe out with the stagecoach this time. See?
Mm-hmm. Doesn't look very good, does it? But I think I came just in time. Got some reinforcements.
Gee, thanks.
This is a battlefield, make-believe and real. The real battle is the one Gordy Nolte is fighting with tuberculosis. Gordy first contracted tuberculosis of the lungs, and then it spread to his spine and has now dissolved one of the vertebrae in his back and is attacking the others. Gordy will probably spend the next 3 years of his life in this TB hospital fighting tuberculosis. But TB is our fight, too. Every 5 minutes, another American breaks down with tuberculosis. It can happen to any of us, age, sex, rich or poor. It doesn't make any difference. But right now, each of us has the opportunity to join in the fight against TB through our purchase of Christmas seals. Our Christmas seal dollars are needed for chest x-rays, health education, rehabilitation, and for medical research. For Gordy and for thousands who are young and old, the fight against TB is face-to-face. But for us, it's a lot easier. Christmas seals on every card, Christmas seals on every package. And make sure you answer your Christmas seal letter today. It's important. And thanks from FS for CS, Frank Sinatra for Christmas seals. Hi there. Come on in and preview these pictures with me. They were made at our Will Rogers Hospital. Our scientists are working day and night in the O'Donnell Memorial Research Laboratories.
right under the same roof with the hospital at Will Rogers. Right there with the doctors and nurses and patients, right where the treatment is going on. All this research is for your benefit. It's specialized research of the serious diseases that attack the human chest. Will Rogers scientists working in Will Rogers laboratories have developed an anti-tuberculosis vaccine, which is now being used in epidemic areas of the world. And that's not all that's done for everyone. Now there's a medical teaching and training institute at Will Rogers. It began 3 years ago and has been growing ever since. We in the industry have been putting in our own money and work for more than 35 years. But we need your help now in the bigger load in the research and teaching we do for the public health. You will help, won't you? Please be generous when the volunteers pass the collection containers. And thank you very much.
Real drama hit the Sinatra family in the December after the Kennedy assassination. As he was about to go on stage, Sinatra Sr. dealt directly with the kidnappers over the phone in cooperation with law enforcement authorities, and the boy was returned 48 hours later. Cynics called it a hoax, but the courts took it seriously, and the kidnappers went to prison. Nancy Sinatra fared more solidly, if less dramatically, in her entertainment career. She escaped the long shadow of her father to establish herself as a competent entertainer. A short-lived marriage to pop star Tommy Sands was followed by the hit song These Boots Are Made for Walkin', and the novelty duet Something Stupid with her dad, which actually hit the top 10. Her films included The Wild Angels and Speedway with Elvis Presley. Frank Sinatra found himself referred to by younger people as Nancy's Pop.
Nancy sings her newest hits with that old Sinatra beat. The Ghost in the Invisible Bikini, in color.
It was the 60s equivalent to the fluffy Sinatra musicals of the 40s. Far more serious was Frank Sinatra's co-production of the complex Richard Condon spy thriller Manchurian Candidate, a tale of assassination and treason that had both right-wing and left-wing commentators enraged. The story had bizarre parallels to conspiracy buffs' views of the JFK murder. A brainwashed American assassin is used as a tool of sinister political powers. JFK had encouraged Sinatra to make the film before he was shot. But for financial and personal reasons, Sinatra withdrew the film after a few months of release. Sinatra had disagreements with how United Artists was handling the film, and exploiting it seemed like exploiting the assassination of Kennedy. Von Ryan's Express showed Sinatra as a man who knew audience expectations. Fighting with the studio and the director, Sinatra insisted on a downbeat climax, feeling the story would be a cheat with a happy ending. He was right. The ending may have been tragic, but that's what audiences wanted. Sinatra cared about picture making almost as much as he cared about making music. And as host of the 1960 Academy Awards, Sinatra, the producer, announced his credo.
You know it, but we need a good pictures. And the way to get good pictures, as I rather obliquely hinted earlier in the evening, is to get back into the Mona Lisa business. Individual pictures, handmade with love and passion and care by individual picture makers. Not by banks or committees or accountants or lawyers or office boys or boards of directors who are really in the real estate business, but by picture makers.
Crime pictures like Tony Rome, The First Deadly Sin, and The Detective showed a world-weary cynic in middle age. Like Bogart, Sinatra gave off an air that he'd seen it all and done most of it. He'd made hundreds of records, dozens of movies and TV shows. He'd been on top and on bottom. Latter-day records like My Way, It Was a Very Good Year, and That's Life showed that the voice was still the most adept singer of the century. The years of smoking and carousing limited his vocal range, but his magic with music and his way of embracing a song lyric remained as strong as ever. At an age when most pop singers are fossils, Sinatra remains a performing legend. You gotta love living, baby, he said, because dying's a pain in the ass. Old Blue Eyes was back less than 2 years later, as if he'd never been away. Performing was and is his life's work. It wasn't a means to an end to make money or gain power. It was his way of expressing emotions inside him. The longing and the rage, the love and the pain. Even through the era of rock and roll, he remained true to his own style. He did it his way. He settled down finally after a quick, uncomfortable marriage to a much younger Mia Farrow, and found the beautiful and domesticated Barbara Marx as a wife and partner. His gradual swing to the political right was as natural as going gray. His personal feelings about hatred and bigotry haven't changed. But this is a man who ran many gauntlets, suffered the slings and arrows of innuendo and repeated investigations into his life, and came around to include big government on his list of hates. Even in that, he speaks for a lot of Americans. There was never anybody like him, and there never will be. Frank Sinatra is a true American classic.